Hey everyone, can you guys hear me? Hey everyone, we'll just wait a little bit for everyone to come in. Yay, you hear me. Hey Summer, hey Amy, hey Lady Pegasus, hey Sassy Pants, hey Jack's mom, hey Harmony. Hello, hello. Okay, so we're, hey Kim A, hey One Smart Cookie, finally we're getting there. We are getting there. Okay. Alrighty, let me start again with my speech that I made that none of you could hear. So frustrating. I don't know what happened. My microphone just wasn't picking up. So there's two things I want to touch on before we actually get into the stream about Kevin. The first thing is about the fires. So if you guys have been, hey Pat, so if you guys have watched previous streams, you'll know that on New Year's Eve, I was almost evacuated from where I live. I was very close to a fire that broke out. It's still burning, but it's under control. So that's really good news. But our country is in a state of disaster. And I can't put into words how bad it is. Not only are we losing a lot of human lives and homes, but 500 million animals have been lost so far. That's 500 million animals. Here in Australia, we have very unique animals, and a lot of them are endangered or vulnerable species. And a lot of these animals have had their entire habitats decimated. And it's not just the fact that a lot of animals have died, it's the fact that their habitats have been destroyed and therefore they don't have food, shelter or water. So it's not just about the animals that die, it's about the future, and that this is going to impact our country for decades. It's so bad. 500 million animals. I mean, there are no words. Hey Jane Doe. So what I'm going to do is put down a link for bushfire information if you want to donate. Obviously, this is totally up to you, but it's a really great article because it not only gives you some really great places to donate, such as the New South Wales RFS. That's our rural fire service, and most of those are actually volunteer. I will tell you that most of these firefighters right now are volunteers. They have given up work for months because this has been going on for months. It just happens to now be probably at the worst level that it could be, that it's being discussed. They have spent months fighting these fires without income. Our government has begun giving them some financial assistance, and some jobs and some companies are actually helping as well. But so there's a lot of great places that they suggest for the people, but there's also places for the animals. So for instance, about a month ago, the Port Macquarie Koala Hospital, Port Macquarie is not actually too far from me, only a couple of hours. They lost 300 koalas, which is absolutely horrendous because koalas are already vulnerable species. They've actually raised $2 million on their GoFundMe page, and that's going to really help not only the Port Macquarie Koala Hospital, but the actual population of koalas in Australia. So that's really great as well. And there's also WIRES, which is the New South Wales Wildlife Information Rescue and Education Service. They basically help with not only they help with all animals that have been injured, they rehabilitate them, and they will eventually, when they're able to, release them back into the wild. It's an incredible organization, so that's another one I recommend as well. So that link is really good. Now, if you can't donate, that's completely fine. What I would recommend you do that can help so much is to take that link and to put it all over your social media and just tell people about it, because by one person sharing, it can go out to hundreds of people, which can sort of then steamroll from there. So just sharing is really, really helpful as well. So let me quickly show you. Let me see where I tweeted. I tweeted an image that's going around a lot. Let me see if I can find it again to show you how bad it is. Here we go. So I'll pop this on the screen quickly, and then I'll read it out to you. But see, I spoke to my dad last night and I said to him, because sometimes I feel like I can overreact. And I said to him, Dad, is this like the worst that it's ever been? And he looked at me, he said, since I've been alive for the last 7 years, this is the worst it's been. And then I found this image that's going to come up on the screen in a minute. And so it gives you some context for you guys, especially overseas. So I remember the California fires of this year, last year, 2019, and there was 253,214 acres lost. In the Amazon fires of 2019, which we all remember being shared all over social media, 2.24 million acres were lost. In the 2019 New South Wales fires, 9.9 million acres lost. In the 2019 Australia fires, 12.3 million acres lost. And as it says at the end there, we are at the start of summer. For us, summer doesn't really end until, I mean, it usually even gets hotter in January and February. And then it starts to cool down sort of mid-March for us. Question, Jane Doe, about the air quality. The air quality is horrible. In fact, for the last month, I keep getting notifications about how bad the air quality is, and it's actually been ranked as the worst air quality in the world currently. It's really, really bad. My sinus is playing up, like everyone's sinus is playing up. I get really bad headaches. My chest is not that strong because of the fact I've had pneumonia a couple of times. And so I'm inside and feeling that way. And then I worry about my animals, obviously, with Bella having terminal cancer. She is really not coping with this heat, and so it's pretty bad. And then the bunnies are very sensitive as well, and they're inside. I mean, you think about all of the animals outside. So I really wanted to talk about it. I don't want to do a stream dedicated to it because I don't think I can mentally handle it. I'm keeping it together as much as I can. But I just want you to know how bad it is. And just please share that link. Share anything you see on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. And I am sharing a lot about not only Kevin Bacon, but about the fires as well. So I've always got things being posted on there. And if I start to go quiet or something during the stream, I'm getting updates that says, as of 2 minutes ago, the Prime Minister has announced Australian Army reservists will be deployed to fire-affected communities across the nation as part of a full-scale military response to the bushfire crisis. And so that kind of tells you how bad it is. I don't know the last time I remember the military getting involved, but they've actually been evacuating people. It's that bad. Hey, Tori. So, yeah. 500 million animals. It's just so bad. So please keep us in your thoughts, and follow me on Twitter hey KDF, follow me on Twitter if you want to know more information about it, because I post a lot on Twitter about the fires. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. Well, I mentioned it before and then you guys didn't hear me. The second thing is about Payton Houston. Unfortunately today, they have announced that the body that was found is in fact Payton Houston. Hey Zombie Muffin, it's so good to see you. Thank you, Tori. So unfortunately, Payton Houston's body has been found. Payton Houston went missing on December 20th in the Birmingham, Alabama area. She had allegedly gone to the Tin Roof Bar and left with 2 heavyset black males. However, there is allegations, speculations that she never made it to the bar, which is very, very, very interesting and kind of makes sense because they'd never released surveillance footage. We are going to talk about Payton in my next live stream. We're going to do a dedicated Payton broadcast. So if you want more information about that, then please subscribe and click on the bell so that you can be notified when I go live next. I will try for tomorrow, but if not, it will be the day after. We'll see how I'm feeling and how everything's going with, you know, the fires and everything like that. Yeah, so many countries are sending fireys over, and that is so amazing. And I think the reason we need it most is not because our fireys are inexperienced, it's because they're tired. They are so tired. They've been doing this for months, guys. So the fact that you've got people that are coming in fresh off Christmas and the holidays and coming to a new country and fighting fires in honor of their country here in Australia, it's so amazing. So thank you so much to everyone who's coming over and helping us. But yes, so Payton we will talk about in the next live stream. Today I want to focus on Kevin. So Kevin, I woke up one morning and looked on my Twitter and saw that Jeffree Star had posted about Kevin. Kevin Bacon was a 25-year-old man from Michigan who was a hairstylist. And I've been speaking to all of his friends and they say nothing but good things about how kind and lovely he was. I briefly mentioned it in a live about a week ago whilst covering 5 other cases. But this case really stuck with me for a lot of reasons. And so I decided to dedicate a live stream completely to his case and to do things a little differently. Because for me, I feel like now that I've been speaking to his friends, I want to honor him whilst also reporting on it. It's a case I don't think that will get as much attention because of the circumstances. And so for that reason and several others, I will be very much following this case. I have actually created, let me see if it's actually saved in the description. I've created a Facebook group for this and it's Justice for Kevin Bacon. And I would really love it if you would join the group. Once you hear his story and what's happened, I'm fairly sure you will feel compelled, like I've felt, to support his family and fight for justice, because this could have been prevented. His murder could have been prevented. Okay, so I'm going to quickly share this with a couple of his friends, just so they know that we're live. It was Kevin's funeral today and there was a vigil, so I don't know whether they're still there. So I've just shared that. Okay. So let's start from the beginning. A lot of people won't know about this case. So Kevin was last seen. Why isn't my thingy working? Okay. So Kevin was 25 years old and a hairstylist. He was a really talented hairstylist. I've been looking at his stuff on his Instagram, and it looks amazing. He loved tattoos. He had some pretty incredible tattoos. He loved Jeffree Star and a lot of amazing drag queens, and loved Taylor Swift, and he just seemed like so much fun. Kevin, on Christmas Eve, meets a man off Grindr. Hey, Sab is my superstar. Sab is a friend of Kevin's, so if everyone can please send hearts to Sab in the chat, I would really appreciate it. So Kevin tells his roommate and his close friend Michelle that he's going to meet up with someone from Grindr. Now, I didn't know much about Grindr before all of this, and that's another stream. We need to discuss that, because the dangers of Grindr have been made aware to me now, and I will discuss that a little later on. So he goes to meet someone, and he's last seen on Christmas Eve about 5 p.m. He's told his roommate he's going to meet a guy. On Christmas Day, he was meant to have a Christmas family brunch at 9 a.m. and he didn't turn up for it. And so he was reported missing by his family, his mum and his dad, who seemed like such sweet people. Later in that day, his parents actually find Kevin's car at a Family Dollar parking lot in Schwartz Creek. And so this is Christmas Day. So Christmas Day was, what date? Was that a Wednesday. Okay. So obviously they start searching and they're looking and they're investigating, and the police decide to check someone's home. They want to check the home of Mark Latunsky. He's a man who was brought to the police's attention a couple of months ago because of a incident that occurred. Basically, that incident is that a man runs to a neighbor's home, banging on the door, asking to be let in, and fearing for his life because another man is chasing him. The man that is the victim in this, I believe he was naked and he was wearing a $300 leather cape. All of the news articles, apparently that's a big deal that it was a $300 leather cape. He seemed terrified and feared for his life, and I'll actually show you a clip soon of what the neighbour does say about this. When police arrive, for some reason they say that the whole thing is consensual, and that he wasn't in danger. This victim wasn't in danger, and it was kind of all sort of chalked up to it just being like some consensual BDSM, and the man got a little freaked. Mark Latunsky wasn't charged with anything. But going back to Christmas Day and the days following Kevin's disappearance, the police think of that. And thanks, Jando. And they actually go on the Saturday, which was the 28th. They go to Mark's home, and they actually find Kevin's body. And so I want to get into that as well, because I'm so upset at the fact that there was possibly a victim beforehand that wasn't paid attention to. And if that person had been paid attention to, would this have happened to Kevin? Hey, Cookie's mum. So his body is found. Mark is charged with open murder, which means he can be charged with murder 1 or murder 2. He's also charged with mutilation of a corpse. So we're going to dive into a little bit about Mark and his alleged ex-partner. And why it's really hard with this one, because Mark has some real mental health issues, some really, really big mental health issues. But I feel like that's where the system fails, because we'll get into it. Summer, did you know Kevin as well? I'm so sorry. And if there is family and friends here, please. Oh, you did. Oh, Summer, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If you guys are listening and you are friends or family of Kevin's, please know that we are so sorry, and I am so passionate about this case, and I will fight for this case. I have created that Facebook group. If one of the mods can grab the link that's in the description and just routinely pop it in the chat, that would be really helpful. Because I really want justice for Kevin and I want his voice heard. Oh, this case is based in Michigan. So in 2013, Mark is charged with 2 counts of parental kidnapping. He, at the time, was married to a woman named Emily, and they get a divorce and they have a joint custody arrangement with their 4 children. During the time, Mark's mental health isn't great. He's diagnosed as schizophrenic, and Emily states in court documents that Mark isn't taking his medication. She's actually counting his pills and he's not taking his pills. So during that time, he takes the kids, the 4 children, to a hotel for 24 hours and doesn't tell Emily where they are. So he's actually charged with 2 counts of parental kidnapping. Whilst that was being discussed, whilst that was going on in court, he actually was found incompetent because of his mental instability. So he was sent to a mental health unit for a while to speak to several psychiatrists and to make sure that his medications were right. So the psychiatrist there actually says that he's not a danger to, hey Berg, hey everyone, he's not a danger to himself or to others, and so I think he's released of that. He then meets a man named Jamie Arnold, who he's married to for 3 years. Jamie claims that they broke up in September of this year, but you'll find that there's a lot of conflicting opinions on that. He is photographed a lot with him up until Christmas Day. He actually goes to Christmas Mark goes to Christmas at Jamie's. So that's really interesting as well. Jamie actually comes out and says that he's not involved because a lot of people are saying that he is, and he does an interview as well. December 30th, Mark goes to court and he acts very differently and very odd. He says he's not who he is. He says he's someone else. And I think from December 30th, we all sort of felt, those that were involved felt Mark was going to plead for insanity. And as I woke up this morning, I found out that that's in fact what's happened. So that's a quick little brief overview of the situation so far. This has only just happened. Kevin's funeral was today, his vigil was tonight, so this is all still fresh and new, but I want to go over everything we know, and then if any of his friends are here and want to talk about him, I'm going to fire Zoom up so that people can call in and share what they want to about Kevin. When you call in through Zoom, I'm not going to leave the Zoom public. If anyone wants to call in, just DM me on Twitter and I can give you the ID code. But if you call in with Zoom, it's completely free and it's completely confidential. It uses internet audio, so it doesn't use a phone number or anything, so I don't get any personal information as well. So that's kind of the basics that we know so far. Let me pop up a photo of Mark. For some reason it's not loading. So he is in jail. I was trying to find more court docs. I can only find the charges so far. Yep, me too. I am someone who advocates for mental health and thinking that it's amazing to take medication, and I have no stigma against medication, and I know how important it is to take your meds. And it really, really angers me that someone can kill another, even if they're not mentally with us at that point, and possibly get away with it. It also irritates me that I think, thank you, Summer. I think that the fact that there was a victim before in pretty much the same circumstances, they met off Grindr. I've spoken to a couple of people who have said they met Mark on Grindr. Grindr deletes messages, so they don't have proof, but they're telling me I talked to him. There were so many red flags. I didn't go and meet him because he scared the heck out of me. But if I feel like, why wasn't that first victim taken seriously? And how many more has there been? How many more? We don't just get to this point. Someone doesn't snap usually, and this happens. It's an escalation. Okay, so where am I at? Where's my page? I want to show you what the neighbor says. So this is an incident that happened a couple of months ago. Let me just check my audio. Make this bigger for you guys. So this is an interview with the neighbor who actually called the police for this guy. And I think it's pretty compelling what he says. So let me turn my music down and mute myself so we can listen.
Is now locked up without bond. Neighbors are sharing new details tonight about an incident outside his home last month. As TV5's Kate Nadolski reports, one neighbor wonders if he could have done more.
The murder of 25-year-old Kevin Bacon, sending a chill across mid-Michigan. The suspect in Bacon's death, 50-year-old Mark Latunsky, whom Bacon had met through a dating app. The death now casting a different light on an unusual encounter in November involving Latunsky's neighbor, Michael Parks.
I hear a pounding at my door at 4 in the afternoon, and I jump up. My dogs are barking like you probably hear, and this kid has his face covered with a rag and a phone to his ear, and he's like, help me, he's after me, just scared to death out of his mind.
This scene played out on Park's front porch, just a few houses down from Latunsky's home on Terrell Street in Bennington Township, where Bacon's body was found Saturday morning.
He's bleeding all over the place. There's blood on my door. A gentleman pulls up in my driveway in a silver SUV, and he gets out, and he's wearing the same getup this guy's wearing, which is a leather skirt and a couple of belts crossing her body, no shoes on, no shirt on. It's 40 degrees out.
Park tells TV5 that the man was Mark Latunsky. He says Latunsky was trying to, quote, calm the situation down, saying it was a misunderstanding, but says the victim's reaction told a different story.
This kid grabs my arm and clutches behind me. Keep him away from me, just scared out of his mind.
That's when Latunsky left and police arrived. There's no record of charges being filed from this incident. Parks says that the victim told police that what the two were involved in was consensual. Parks also says both the first victim and Kevin Bacon have purple hair and the same body type.
Similar looking people. Maybe he had a certain type. I don't know. It's creepy to think about.
And knowing what he does now, the homeowner says he wonders if doing more in that moment could have changed the outcome.
Just wish he'd have pressed charges, because maybe he could have kept this from happening. But, you know, on a simple assault charge, I don't see that he's going to get out eventually, and something's going to eventually happen.
In Shiawassee County, Kate Nadolski, W1EM, TV5.
Latunsky remains jailed without bond. His preliminary exam is next month.
I'm so sorry, Summer. I'm so sorry. Thanks, guys. I realized just a second ago. So I've been speaking to someone privately who believes that who says that he was speaking to Mark, and that he's had a conversation with Mark, but felt that Mark was dangerous. That person also has purple hair, so that's very interesting. That's 3 people now I know of that have come across Mark with purple hair. And I will say that, yeah, Grindr deletes messages and haven't been helping with police. So, I mean, that says a lot. So I'm just having a little look and having looking at the comments. Okay, so police were contacted in that first incident, and they did actually arrive, and there's actually a couple of news articles about it. Let me see if I can pull them. I'll pull up the one that I got. Now, I will say a big thank you to Sab, who's in chat, who was a friend of Kevin's. She has helped me so much with information. It's so nice to have someone to help. And she's just sent me everything. It's just amazing what she sent me. So let me quickly grab the article that I had. there was an article in the paper about it, and it was just really weird the way that it was worded. And I have so many photos of him, guys, that people have sent me, so I will share some photos with you. He just looks so happy. And okay, I don't think I saved it to my phone, so I'll have to quickly grab it off the Twitter. But Sab has an excellent thread on Twitter for information. I know I saved it somewhere, but I just don't know where I saved it. But there is an article online that was in a newspaper about it, and it was just, it kind of really angered me the way that it was written. Sab, if you know which one I'm talking about. Can't seem to find it. Maybe it's in my phone. Probably saved it in my phone. Even if I just read it to you guys. Oh gosh, I can't find it. That's so annoying. There's an article, here, I've got it. It doesn't have a date on when it is, but let me send it to myself. Airdrop it to myself so that I can pause. Okay, here we go. So, Morris reports Monday afternoon that a man has escaped from being chained in a basement, was able to break free, and was running away from his alleged captor. Turned out to not be completely accurate. According to Michigan State Police Lieutenant Dave Kaiser, a man was in fact running away from being chained up in a basement, but it was the result of a consensual sexual encounter with another man. One was chained up in the basement, Kaiser said. There was some role-playing and BDSM type stuff going on. The man was released from the chains when the act was over. The two men went upstairs, were laying in bed, and the man who was chained up got a little freaked out and fled the residence. Kaiser said the other man gave chase. He wasn't trying to get away from the other guy, Kaiser said. He wasn't completely naked. He was wearing a $300 leather cape, and that's the reason the other man was chasing him. Michigan State Police units responded to the call, but due to the nature of the incident, no criminal charges were filed and both men were released. The guy that was chasing the other just wanted his leather cape back, Kaiser said. So, hey Riley, hey everyone. Let me go back and have a little look. Of course, Sab. Yeah, we do need... Bye, Summer. Take care. And shoot me an email if you ever need to talk. So yeah, I did find that, and that's very, very interesting that the police put it down to being consensual. I personally hope that now that, sadly this has happened, that whoever that victim was will actually file a police report and that they will take it seriously now and actually do something about it, because I don't think that it was consensual at all. And after what we listened to about what the neighbor said and about this article, it just, to me, that's not accurate at all. So this is an incident that had obviously previously happened. Now, as we said, it's alleged that in September, a couple of things happen. apparently Mark Latunsky's mental health goes down track, and his ex-wife Emily actually makes note of this and lets the courts know. I don't think she was very comfortable with him being around the children. And Jamie, his husband of 3 years, they actually split up because of the mental health issues that Mark is facing and obviously not dealing with. I think he also loses his job because actually I think he lost his job a couple of months prior to that because of his mental health situation. It wasn't making sense. He was saying he was being followed, that he was being poisoned. A lot of things that sadly do sound like the schizophrenia that he was diagnosed with having. So his partner or ex-partner, Jamie, has actually done some interviews. I will play you both interviews. Bye, Metarino, night. So that you guys can see. So Jamie comes out and says something because there was like a rumor going around that he was on the run, and that proved to not be true. But a lot of people are saying that he possibly allegedly has something to do with the murder of Kevin. There's no proof of that, but he's kind of been caught in a couple of lies. So people are wondering whether he did have anything to do with it or not. So let's get this sorted. Pull this up for you guys.
I'm not on the run. I've never been on the run. I have been in full cooperation with the police since Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning. They came here and gave me the detective's number to call when I could, and I had an interview with him yesterday and gave him my full statement. And he told me then, he said that if I was under any suspicion at all, I would have been arrested already.
The Kevin Bacon story is one that's been getting national.
Okay, so that's the first interview with Jamie, who's the ex-partner of Mark. I think that they were still friends though. Let's have a look at the second interview that's a little longer. Let me just pull that up for you guys.
Well, I know the truth, that I'm not running, that I'm in full cooperation, that I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to bring justice, that this man should never be let out of prison.
The husband of an accused killer speaking out tonight in an effort to defend himself as questions surround the case continue to grow. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I'm David Custer. 50-year-old Mark Latunsky is charged in the death of 25-year-old Kevin Bacon. The Swartz Creek man was meeting up with someone from a dating app. His remains found days later in a Shiawassee County home. Now, I sat down with Mark Latunsky's husband today to talk about the man he knew and the information circulating on social media about him.
Nobody should have to go through this. No parent should ever have to bury a child
Jamie Arnold talking about the parents of Kevin Bacon. 25-year-old Bacon was found murdered inside what was once Arnold's permanent residence in Bennington Township, a home he shared with his husband, accused killer Mark David Latunsky.
It's somebody who, when you met, was this kind, gentle soul who turned into this monster. You don't want to believe it.
He says he can't believe his husband is charged with murder and mutilation in Bacon's death on Christmas Eve. Arnold says he separated from Latunsky in September and moved out of the house because of his husband's lifestyle.
One time I came home and there's somebody there, and he tried to get me involved, and it was like, you know what? I'm going to make me dinner. I'm going to go to bed. That's why I had to get out. So I had to get out. I couldn't take that lifestyle anymore.
And when's the last time you talked to Mark?
I talked to Mark on Christmas Day. I had some friends over, and I didn't want him to be alone, so I invited him over Christmas Day if he wanted to come.
Okay, so...
He arrived there in the afternoon, I don't know, sometime around 1, 2 o'clock. He appeared to be normal. He never exhibited any signs that anything was wrong.
Jamie said Christmas Day was the last time he talked to his husband, but later told me that his car broke down the Monday before Christmas and he had to get a rental car. He said he had no one to call for help.
On Friday the 27th, he was here to take my car, the rental car, back because it was costing me a fortune. And he said, hey, you know what? Why don't you use my car? There's a truck, you know, I'll get that fixed up and I'll drive that, and you can drive my car until your car is fixed.
Did you take Mark back to the house on that Friday?
Yes, I did.
Did you go in the house?
I did not. I dropped him off at 10:30 at night. And came back home. I had to work the next day, and he never once said, hey, why don't you come in? He just got out of the car, left, and I left.
Kevin Bacon's body was found the following morning. Jamie says he was interviewed by police. Michigan State Police told TV5 they cannot confirm if Arnold had been interviewed by investigators, but did say there are no other suspects at this time.
The police told me that if they thought I was involved, I would have been arrested by now if I was under any kind of suspicion.
Why would you think that people would think you're involved?
Because of social media, because of what's out there. All they know is what they see. I understand. They see pictures of us together. They see that we are married, that we live in the same place. They don't know that I left. They don't know the reasons why I left.
Arnold says he never met Kevin Bacon and he doesn't understand how or why this happened. He says he's coming forward to proclaim his innocence and clear his name.
If you're in hiding, you're guilty. Or if you're in public, you're guilty. If, you know, what you say is guilty. Why would you have him over to your house on Christmas? Well, because he was somebody I cared about, that I didn't want to be alone on Christmas, because how do you stop loving somebody? How do I love him now? The person he was 5 years ago, this person, no.
Funeral arrangements for Kevin Bacon have been set. A viewing will be held this Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 8 p.m. at the Sharp Funeral Home in Swartz Creek. The funeral will be held Friday at 11 a.m.
So that's the interview with Jamie, who is his ex. That's really great. Hey, Awkward Occurrence Late Night Show, how are you? That's a really great point. Jack's mom, she says he can testify to his frame of mind that day because he was, Jamie was over there after, after Kevin was killed. So let me just double check. The interview, the article was posted December 31st, so New Year's Eve. And so when I first learnt about the case, I learnt about it through Jeffree Star, and there was a GoFundMe set up for Kevin's family for the funeral, and the goal was $20,000. And hang on one sec, guys. The goal was $20,000, and incredibly, Jeffree Star donated $20,000 for the funeral, which was amazing. All right, I'm just going to give you a quick notification that I may actually lose power. There is a power outage in my area, so if the stream cuts off randomly, everything's fine. There's just a power outage, and I've just been alerted that there's another fire near me, but at the moment it's just on advice, so I'm fine for the moment, but things may change. I will have to see how we go, but just if I get cut off the stream, I'll say something on Twitter. So, I don't know, Sassy Pants. Hey, Dari D, how are you? Okay, so we then look at now I'm getting the Wheel of Death. Why am I getting the Wheel of Death? Then we look at the December 30th appearance in court. I want to show you the video of it because you can see Mark and you can hear Mark for the first time. And he claims that they've got the wrong guy in jail. So let me pull that up for you guys. Please don't automatically play because I don't like it when that happens. Okay, here we go.
A Shiawassee County man has been charged with the murder of Kevin Bacon, who was reported missing when he didn't come home Christmas Day. Mark Latunsky was arraigned this afternoon on charges of open murder and mutilation of a human body. He was arrested Saturday after police say they found Bacon's body at his home in Morris. But as Kylie Kahn reports, the man who appeared in court today says he's not Latunsky.
Sir, are you Mr. Latunsky?
No, my name is Edgar Thomas Hill. Mark Latunsky is my nephew.
And he signed another name to court documents. The judge didn't delve into that. He simply continued with the arraignment and ordered Latunsky held without bond.
The police have definitely identified who he is. They've dealt with him in the past, and this is the same person they arrested on site. And they have not left his custody at all.
Mark Latunsky was charged with kidnapping in 2013, but the charges were dismissed after several competency hearings.
I've heard bits and pieces about that there was a lot of psychological disorders. I don't know a whole lot about everything, but it sounds like it's just a whole mess.
Myers says Bacon went to meet Latunsky on Christmas Eve after they got in contact through a dating app. He was reported missing the next day when he didn't come home for Christmas.
He could bright up any room that he walked into and was just, I don't know, like just everyone says he's just the nicest guy, and it is 100% true.
Prosecutors didn't give any details about how Bacon was killed. His parents say they're still trying to process it all.
I'm all over, sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And I just want him punished for everything he did.
YouTuber and makeup artist Jeffree Star donated $20,000 to the family after finding out Kevin was one of his biggest fans.
It's beautiful and tragic at the same time that, like, Jeffree's reached out and done all this, but Kevin can't be the one just receive, like, Kevin's not here for any of it.
And tonight, a word of warning for anybody meeting up with strangers through dating apps.
Just make sure you tell somebody who you're going to be with, where you're going to be at. That was our biggest obstacle in this case. Is Kevin didn't tell us where he was going.
Kylie Kahn, Fox 47 News.
Bacon's family says his funeral is set for Friday. Lutunsky is facing the possibility of life in prison if he's convicted. His next court date is scheduled for January 8th, and we will keep you updated on the case.
Hey Shelley, no worries. Yeah, I've heard how happy and lovely Kevin was. I'm just deleting some stuff to make sure that it's not buffering. That can happen. Okay, so there is an article, there's 2 articles that I want to share with you. Let me just grab them. So, the other encounter was in November, just to clarify. So, it wasn't that long ago, which is really interesting. Okay. So the 2 articles. Actually, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. So there was an article by Lansing Post that has just been released in the last hour or so, I think. And unfortunately, well, I don't know if unfortunately is the word, but the suspect, Mark Lutunsky, is actually going to plead insanity. So I will read you this. Actually, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to read the other one first about his mental health. That makes more sense. So this article is from mlive.com and it was updated January 3rd, so today in America. It is written by Zara Ahmed and it says suspect in Kevin Bacon murder case has long history of mental illness, records show. Divorce, custody and criminal records show a history of complaints about the mental health of the man accused of murdering Kevin Bacon. Mark Lutunsky, 50, was arrested for the alleged murder and mutilation of Bacon, who went missing on December 24th. Bacon's body was recovered 4 days later from Lutunsky's home in Bennington Township near Maurice. Lutunsky was known to stop taking the medication prescribed to treat his mental health illnesses, according to records from the 66th District and 35th Court Circuit Courts. A motion filed August 22 by former wife Emily Lutunsky to suspend Mark Lutunsky's parenting time states he was diagnosed with major depression, paranoid schizophrenia, and traits of a personality disorder in 2010 and 2012. Mark Lutunsky had a history of mental illness and has been hospitalized in the Owosok Mental Stress Unit, according to the August 22 motion. Mark Lutunsky has a history of going off his medication. Jamie Arnold, Mark Lutunsky's husband for more than 3 years, told MLive, the Flint Journal, he wasn't aware of Mark Lutunsky's mental illnesses until July, when he was arrested for failing to pay child support. A July 22nd court order states Mark Lutunsky spent 4 days in jail for the offence. To my knowledge, I couldn't force him to see a therapist or take medication, Arnold said. Never in a million years did I think he'd be capable of doing such a horrendous crime. Arnold said he didn't think Mark Lutunsky could seriously harm or kill anyone. In hindsight, I It's easy to sit back and speculate, but at the time you're going through it, there are emotions and feelings involved. You don't want to think that the person you fell in love with is some crazy homicidal maniac, Arnold said. I pray that God is there for Kevin Bacon's family in their time of need and that he helps us all get through this one day at a time. The victim's family, however, feels Mark Latunsky might try and use his history of mental illness to elude justice. Carl Bacon, Kevin Bacon's dad, said he felt like Mark Latunsky was playing the mental health card at the arraignment on December 30th. When asked if his name was Mark Latunsky at the arraignment, Mark Latunsky said that it was not his name, that his name was Edgar Thomas Hill, and that Mark Latunsky was his nephew. He had used the mental health card to get out of situations in the past, and he's attempting to use it again, Carl Bacon said. I would like to see him locked up for the rest of his life in some form or another. And so now it talks a little bit about the kidnapping in 2013. It says, Mark Latunsky's divorce from Emily Latunsky was finalized in July 2013, records show. The couple had joint custody of their 4 children, according to the 35th Circuit Court records. Emily Latunsky did not respond to messages left for comment on this story. In March 2013, petition for the exclusive use of their home on Tyrrell Road, Emily Latunsky noted that Mark's schizophrenia could be maintained with medicine. Emily alleged that he knew. Let me try again. Emily alleged she knew he wasn't taking his medication because she was counting his pills. He is very bright and he has a good ability to hide his illness and the fact that he is not taking his medications. However, such mental illnesses eventually overrides his intelligence, a lawyer for Mark's ex-wife Emily stated in the petition. In September 2013, Mark was arraigned on 2 counts of parental kidnapping related to him keeping 2 of the children from their mother Emily for more than 24 hours, according to court records. Mark took the kids to a hotel and refused to return them to their mother, the records stated. He was found incompetent to stand trial in the court case in February 2014. A judge ordered Mark to undergo outpatient treatment in May 2014, court records show. Mark Latunsky's psychiatric treatment was reported in an August 14, 2014 letter to courts. It says, he has proven not to be a danger to himself or others, despite brief periods of hospitalization, and hasn't attempted to harm himself or others at any point, said the psychiatrist who treated Mark. In October 2014, Mark's lawyer motioned to amend his bond so that he could reside in Lansing with a friend who would help him focus on his mental health. Mark continued to travel for work through the court case, records show. Between 2013 and 2015, Mark travelled to chemical engineering conferences for his job at American Chemical Technologies, according to court. The kidnapping case was reopened in January 2015 when Mark Latunsky was found competent to stand trial. It was later dismissed without prejudice in February 2015, according to the 66th District Court records. Arnold and Mark Latunsky first met 5 years ago on Grindr, a dating app, according to Arnold. The couple got married in Florida in December 2016 and separated in September 2019, he said. Mark's behavior began to spiral in February, Arnold said, after he was fired from his job making lubricants for American Chemical Technologies. Mark Latunsky requested the court adjust his child support payments after losing his job, according to a February 28th motion filed with the 35th Circuit Court. To my knowledge, he was fired due to erratic behaviour at work. He was accusing his place of employment of contaminating the products he would make, Arnold said. Arnold said he became aware of Mark's mental illness when he began saying stranger and stranger things. For instance, Mark claimed his 4 children weren't really his. I knew something wasn't right, but I didn't know it was to that extreme, Arnold said. He was progressively saying stranger and stranger things, like the neighbours were polluting our water supply. They were nonsensical. All I knew was I had to get out of the situation. Arnold said he never saw Mark take medication and the couple never talked about his mental health. You can't force people who are mentally ill to take their medication. Unfortunately, until something like this, when someone is harmed, your hands are tied, Arnold said. Emily Latunsky filed a motion to suspend Mark's parenting time on August 22, alleging that he may be off his medication and become delusional if he is. Mark accused Emily and her brother of trying to murder him by putting poison in the well, lawyers for Emily Latunsky stated in the motion to suspend parenting time. A bench warrant was issued for Mark Latunsky's arrest on October 23rd because he failed to pay child support. Mark Latunsky was also scheduled to appear at an evidentiary hearing for parenting time on December 10th. And then here's a little bit about Kevin, and that's what we're going to go into in a moment, and we're going to talk about Kevin. Bacon was a hairstylist who specialized in vibrant coloring at Uniquely You Salon in Schwartz Creek and studied psychology at the University of Michigan Flint. Michelle Myers, Bacon's best friend and roommate, called him compassionate, caring, and loving. The two met in 4th grade. Bacon's openness and transparency always comforted Myers. Kevin was a colorful, vibrant being both inside and out. He did what he wanted to do when he wanted to and let very little hold him back, Myers said. He was attentive and could remember all the small details, even all the ones that you forgot. He was known for his colorful tattoos, Myers said, which he got because they made him love himself in his own skin. Bacon's dreams range from being a hairdresser working runways to a clinical therapist, Myers said. I really could not have asked for a better friend. I was incredibly lucky to call him my friend. Myers was the last person to see Bacon alive on the evening of December 24th. Bacon told Myers he was meeting up with the guy he'd met on Grindr. At 6:12 p.m. that night, Bacon texted Myers that he'd be out for a while and he wasn't sure when he'd be back. And then it goes on to what we already know. And we know that Mark is being held in jail without bond, and he has to appear for a probable cause hearing in court on January 8th. So I want to now go into talking about Kevin more, now that we know all that we do about the entire case. I want to open it up so that anyone who is listening that knew Kevin, if you feel comfortable, I would really love if you would come up and have a little chat to us about what Kevin was like, who he was as a person, what he loved, and any special memories you have with him. I think it's important to give him a voice, and I want out there that's listening wants to actually come up and chat. Shoot me a message on let me know in the chat, and then if you shoot me a message on Twitter, I can give you the ID code to call in through. I feel like that would be a nice way to honor him and to find out more about him, because I want to focus on him when it comes to this. I'm really frustrated with the fact that now we know that he is going to plead insanity. That's come out today. The lawyers are going to contend that their client is legally insane and can't be held criminally liable. But I feel like we just need to keep saying his name and sharing his photo and sharing who he is as a person. I think that's really, really important. Yeah, and I do want to have a conversation about Grindr as well, because I didn't know that once you close the app, if you're using it and then you click out of it, they delete all of the messages as well. So it's really hard. It was really hard for investigators as well to find out information, because Grindr wouldn't release the deleted messages from Kevin's account. And all they had to go on was the first victim, and the fact that that was a very weird occurrence, and that's where the police got their tip from. And so once again, we have the Facebook group set up for Kevin. It is Justice for Kevin Bacon. And if you join that group, we're going to share as much as we can in there about upcoming court, and then obviously then talk about Kevin and share photos and memories of him. And so whilst we're here, let me show you some photos that have been sent to me of Kevin. Let me just grab them. That's completely fine, Summer. The Summer is a friend of Kevin's, and she says that Kevin means too much to her to talk about right now. But if you ever need to talk, not online, but just offline, please shoot me an email. And if you ever want to like share something, maybe write something out. I found that when my best friend passed in 2014, I actually started a journal to her, and I found it really helpful to write to her. So maybe you can write to him on your grief journey, and maybe you can write a dedication to him and share that with us. I know that a lot of his friends wanted to, and I think that it's probably too soon for that, but I think with time as well, because today was also the funeral. I didn't know that the funeral was today, and I'd already organized the live stream, and I mean, so today's just a hard day for them all as well. So let me pull up some more photos. But it's really, really hard to... Okay, well, it looks like I can't pull up more photos. I'm going to have to delete some stuff because the OBS is playing up. Here we go. I'll just have to replace photos because OBS doesn't like it when I love this photo of Kevin. I just love it. Yes, prayers for Kevin's family and friends. So what I know about Kevin from talking to everyone is that he, I think that you can tell a lot by a person by the type of people they surround themselves with and through their friends. And everyone has reached out to me and said how amazing he is. Hey Elle, how are you? Happy New Year. And they've spoken about how he had his struggles, but he tried to remain positive, and he was a really lovely, kind person that it seems like everyone wanted to be around him. Like I said, he loved Jeffree Star and he loved his tattoos. Actually, I've got some photos of his tattoos that I want to show you. Someone sent them to me. See if I can pull them up. I'll show you this one. This one's got Jeffree Star on it. If you want to go and have a look as well, his Instagram is Hair by Kevin Bacon on Instagram, and you can go and have a look at all of his... Actually, I think I can pull it up. Why don't I do that? Annoying. I can hear someone doing the lawns. I think that they may also have some mental health issues, and I'm not even joking. It is 41 degrees outside right now, 105. How can you mow your lawns at that time? Like, honestly. Well, it won't let me log in to Instagram. That's a bit weird. Just won't do it. Let me show you another photo. I may just have to do this instead because I'm having trouble logging into Instagram. So Beauty Killer is a Jeffree Star reference. He has a song or an album named Beauty Killer, and he also then created his first eyeshadow palette was Beauty Killer. Let's see if this works. Again, I'm determined to log in. It's not working. Bizarre. And let's look at another one. No, Summer, Jeffree Star's merch brand is Killer merch. Beauty Killer is his album that he released, his first album, and then it's a palette that it was his first palette. But his merch brand is Killer Merch. It's probably based off it though, I would say. Oh, there's more tats. I'll show you more. I can only show you one at a time though, because OBS, I found out the reason that buffering happens, and it's because of OBS. It if you put a lot of photos up, it actually makes it buffer. So here's another photo of his arm tat. So pretty. The feather is stunning. And then you can actually see above that star is the Jeffree Star logo. It's such pretty tattoos. I know tattoos aren't for everyone, but I love tattoos. I've got 3. That feather is just so pretty. He was a huge Taylor Swift fan, I'm told. There's a gorgeous photo I'll share in a minute of him being really excited when her last album was released, and there's a photo of him holding it, which is really lovely. Yeah, Stephanie, aren't they? They're beautiful colors. Just so pretty. Let me show you that photo. Photo with this Swiftie photo. There we go. Make it nice and big. I apologize, Summer. Summer, did you go to the funeral today? I think in America, you guys do funerals a lot differently. I was talking to one of my friends. We don't actually have viewings in Australia. But it was really lovely, and I'm so grateful for. I follow Jeffree Star. I love makeup a lot, and so I'm really grateful that he retweeted it, because I may not have heard of the case. I probably would have, because I cover true crime. But it was just really nice because it was one of my featured tweets on tweets that I'd missed. And so I woke up to it. It was like the first tweet I saw of the morning. And so I'm really glad that he retweeted it. And obviously he donated that $20,000. That's just incredible. But so because of that, I was able to see Kevin's story and then meet with and connect with so many of his friends who just seem so wonderful, and try and help you guys through this journey. I'm no expert in true crime. I'm no expert in the American justice system at all. But for people that haven't been through a court case before and don't know how it all works, sometimes it's good to have someone you can ask questions to. Hey, Tracker 3, how are you? Yeah, he does look really happy there. I loved the photos that have been sent to me. I've been sent so many photos. There's some photos I'm not sure if I want to put up because I don't know who else is in the photos, and so I don't want to Oh, interesting, Lady Pegasus. So yeah, so with this case we're going to follow this one all the way through. And if someone can, if Renee, if you're in, next time you're in the group, can you try and remember to put on the court, what's the court thread about January 8th? And I will, hey Kelly Bell, how are you? I will, after I've done this stream and I've cooled down a little bit, I'm going to make a calendar so that we can follow all of the court proceedings for a couple of cases. We have one coming up. Actually, we should have had one today. Did we have one today? I think there was court today, so let's have a little look. Oh, it's been delayed at least 2 months. Okay, so he was meant to be in court. David Sparks, who murdered Savannah Spurlock, was meant to be in court this morning, but he wasn't. The prosecutors have asked for a delay because there's so much evidence. So when does it say? It doesn't say anything about the next date. And do you know what tomorrow is? Technically it's for me, it's today. Tomorrow is the 1 year since she disappeared. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to come on tomorrow and do a stream and talk about Payton and Savannah. Let's do that. I'll do a stream tomorrow. It's been pushed back to March 6th. Okay, I'll come on tomorrow and we'll talk about Savannah and Payton, because there's sort of some similarities there, and I think it would be good to talk about both of them. Just do sort of a little, you know, memorial for Savannah and for Payton as well. And so anyone that's just joining and doesn't know, today we've been our stream's dedicated to Kevin Bacon. He's a 25-year-old man who was murdered in Michigan on Christmas. We're not sure if it was Christmas Eve or early Christmas Day morning that he was murdered. His alleged killer is behind bars. It has been charged with open murder and mutilation. And we're going to cover this case because I've really connected with this case, and it hasn't really gotten a whole bunch of attention, and there's just some cases that you just feel for and that grab you, and this is one of them. And so we're going to see it through. Oh, of course, Summer. Of course. It's just so hard, isn't it? There's just so many cases, and it's just so hard. But for me, I really want to cover Kevin's and really honor him. So Summer, it was Christmas Day because they weren't sure whether it was because he left at 6 at night. So the last I heard, they weren't sure exactly, but Christmas Day, that's just so hard. You know what? There is so many horrible things that happen on Christmas Day. It's so sad. That family is never going to... Christmas Day will never be the same for his loved ones. Just so sad. I have no idea, Tracker, but when we cover it tomorrow, I will let you know. Absolutely. And so we will also continue with this one. And so in our Facebook we have All Things True Crime. We cover all cases, and I will create a court calendar so we can keep on track with all of them as well. Let's pop another photo up. I love this one as well. Oh, I gotta fix it. There we go. I love his smile. He has such a lovely smile. So I think that's the latest we know in regards to Kevin. I'm going to leave the lines of communication though open so that anyone who feels that they want to share in time when they feel ready to, you don't have to come on and share anything. If you want to share something with me that I can read so that people know more about Kevin as a person, I would be completely honored. So you're welcome to shoot me a email or a message on Twitter or Facebook. My email is missbridgetparker@gmail.com. It's in my description. Just has such a lovely smile, doesn't he? He just has such a lovely demeanor. I'd love to have met him. And maybe I would love to see more of him. Deirdre, today's stream was dedicated to Kevin Bacon. He was a man who was murdered on Christmas Day in Michigan by by someone who he'd met off the dating app Grindr. Today was Kevin's funeral and then a vigil tonight. And so I thought that we would do a different sort of stream and we would honor him and have be it a safe place for his family and friends to come, because I know that sometimes when we cover true crime, we talk about theories and discussions, and it's very confronting for family and friends to be there and hear that, because it's their loved one. So I wanted this to be a bit different tonight and to be a safe place for his loved ones if they wanted to come and watch and participate. So that's what today was about. But I think I'm going to wrap it up here for today. And like I said, I will be continuing on with this case, and we have a Facebook group for it, Justice for Kevin Bacon. And that's on Facebook, and then I'm on Twitter and posting a lot about Kevin's case on there as well. He is your beautiful friend, and he still is your beautiful friend. And so everyone send lots of hearts. I don't know if Sab is still here. Let's send some hearts for Summer, please, in the chat, so that she knows that we're all thinking of her. Summer is Kevin's friend, and she honoured us with her presence tonight. So Summer, we are thinking of you during this grief journey. It's so hard to lose a friend, especially under these circumstances. So we are all thinking of you. And sorry, what do you mean, Summer? Yeah, lots of hearts for Summer, and for all of his loved ones that might be listening and not wanting to chat. That's totally understandable. And if you want to, if you're listening to the restream, pop some hearts in the comments down below for his family as well. Oh. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you all for coming in. We will be live again tomorrow. We'll be talking about Savannah and Payton's cases, and the 1-year anniversary for Savannah. And like I said, come and join the Facebook group for Kevin, and lots of love to his family and friends on what is a really hard day in a really hard situation. So thank you all so much for being here. I will see you all same time tomorrow. Lots of love to you all. Please keep Australia as well in your thoughts. I'm going to go and cool my beloved dog down whilst she's struggling in the heat like me as well. Lots of love, everyone. Take care, and bye for now.